Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Grow Your Mind. This is the Tower Garden Educator series that we do the third Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. Eastern. I am your gracious host, Mr. Troy Richardson, and I am blessed and privileged to have two phenomenal urban gardeners with me every Thursday, every third Thursday of the month, and the names of Lori Weeks and Mr. Henry Lee. And we are going to present the Tower Garden. It is an aeroponic growing device that is utilized in schools all around the country and also other environments, as you will see. But we are going to get started. We like to get it in early and stop early as well. So with no further ado, I want to introduce Lori Weeks.
Hey there, I'm always so excited about this opportunity to gather with people who really understand or want to find out more about the power of plant nutrition. The power of plant nutrition made so super easy. My name is Lori Weeks. I'm coming to you from Evans, Georgia. And I am so excited that just a few years ago, my neighbor mentioned to me that she has found an easy way to incorporate plant nutrition into her everyday. You know, I asked her to tell me more, and I was so grateful when I found out in the form of a capsule or gummy, she could get over 30 fruits and vegetables and berries into her system every day. I knew that this is something that I needed and that my family needed. And I'm so glad that after I started eating them every single day, I started experiencing wonderful changes. I noticed right away that I was sleeping so much better. You guys, can you believe that about 3.5 years ago, my hair was falling out, and now my hair is like thick. It started growing in again, you know, kind of like it was in my youth. But I think that that's an indicator that something was going on the inside that I wasn't even aware of. But the power of plants could make a change. You know, when I started seeing better health improvements for myself and for my family, I wanted to know more about this Tower Garden because I wanted to find a way to get in another clean food source into my families every single day. Now, I came into the Tower Garden family with no experience whatsoever with gardening. And I am excited that it just has made my growing my own food experience just so super easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share screen and show you my towers. You guys, just in a few years, I first started with just like growing like, lettuce and kale and a few herbs. And then now it's really just taken off quite easily. So right here, this is what stepping outside of my back door looks like. Let me see if I can get this to play. Oops. That's not the one I want. Okay. Well, you see, we have a lot of growing. I wanted to show you this one. I'm walking right outside of my door, and right on this patio, I have the home growing unit, and I have some microgreens and some herbs. And you can see that I'm getting ready to put in more plants. So I've already cleaned these up, and right here, I just wanted to show you really quickly, these are fish tank heaters. The temperatures in Georgia right now are dropping below freezing a few nights, and there's frost. And so putting that right in the basin has kept the water very warm and allows me to continue growing all year. So on just a little bit of space, you can see I'm growing kale, rainbow chard, Swiss chard. Here I also have some Adriana lettuce, Bib lettuce, rosemary, chamomile, that is some cilantro. So I have a lot of herbs growing right here on this tower. I do have 3 towers in full use. And this is my herb tower. I'm now into steeping my own teas. And so I love growing things like stevia, echinacea, chamomile, lemon balm, lavender, calendula, Dandelion roots are also wonderfully easy, to grow and to brew a tea. I'm also gathering my own seeds. I've grown sunflowers from the tower and then just harvested the seeds. And this tower, it just blooms all year long. And it just really just brightens up any small space. I can grow so much because everything is grown vertically. I did grow that pumpkin right there. I grew my first pumpkin over, earlier in October, and it was super easy. And right here, I have more rosemary and lavender. And look at how many peppers. I have different varieties of peppers. You can only find one or two varieties in the store, but I have lunchbox peppers, jalapeno peppers, sweet peppers, bell peppers, chocolate peppers, and all different types of colors. I know that we're always encouraged to eat the rainbow. It sure is super easy to eat the rainbow when you're growing the rainbow. So it's so nice that my husband and I can just walk right out onto our patio every single day and harvest these onions, the lettuce, the kale, the peppers, and it's an awesome meal starter. Even this late in the season, I'm still able to grow strawberries. Usually strawberries are just such a short growing season, but I can grow them almost year round. I'm growing my own lavender. I dry that and can put that on my table or even incorporate that in some of my foods. This plant, this plant has been with me for about 2.5 years, that onion plant. And so it just keeps giving. And then now I'm just going to back up just to show you, it really does not take much space at all just to really just provide your family with clean food. I've never used any kind of chemical or pesticide on any of my foods. And, I think a lot of our success is much in part from calls like this and getting together as a community, who can help, me navigate and is there to support me and answer any questions and always there to encourage us to do better. You guys, Troy, thank you so much for letting me share this evening.
I mean, Lori, every week, every month, you just expose me to different things. And you mentioned the community. The beauty about this community is, as you said, you can lean on others. You're not in this alone. And for me, like, I have a question right now because my granddaughter loves sunflower seeds. Those sunflower seeds, are those the ones that you can actually eat that people buy?
Absolutely. I've grown dwarf sunflower seeds, and I've also grown a big mammoth sunflower. And it just takes one or two of those. You could just harvest those seeds, and that can just last you just for weeks and weeks. Absolutely.
Wow, that is
All
incredible.
grown in the tower.
And the big pumpkin, I mean, wow. I'm amazed. I have my first zucchini squash coming in, and it was like I had a brand new baby. Folks out there on Facebook, if you are looking at this and you want to take control of your own food source like Lori is, and you saw how much she's growing, just imagine, instead of the grocery store, you going to it, it's in your home. This is really incredible, folks. We invite you to just join us in this mission because it is incredible. And I've been in this community for 3 years and I'm still amazed like it's my first day. That is the power of this tower. And just thank you so much, Lori. God bless you and happy holidays to you. The next, we're going to go to my main man who's out there in Ohio representing the Ohio State University, Mr. Henry Lee. Welcome.
Thank you, Troy. Glad to be here. And as always, going after Lori, that's a hard act to follow because your tower gardens are so impressive, Lori. Did I hear at one point that you and your husband were living off of your tower gardens?
Absolutely. There certainly are weeks that my husband and I will personally challenge ourselves to see how much we can really just, we want to get more into sustainability and to really challenge ourselves to go out there for every single meal. And we've been able to accomplish that more and more. Now, one tower can certainly provide enough greens and herbs for a family, but you see that I do have multiple towers, and so that can give us, more than enough food.
So I'm trying to imitate you a little bit, and instead of going wide and having multiple tower gardens, then this is my current tower garden. I don't know if you can see, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sections. So it's pretty tall. But for everyone that's on the call here, just want to thank everyone for being here again. And we know that you are here because you're an educator, or because you know educators, or you want to learn how tower gardens can be used in education. So I'm going to show you a quick video of one of our friends. His name is Dr. Steven Ritz. And Dr. Steven Ritz is one of my favorite tower gardeners because he comes right out of the Bronx of New York. He has a background similar to mine in the classroom. And this video actually speaks louder than words. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you here. And this is Dr. Ritz.
My name is Steven Ritz, and I am CEO, Chief Eternal Optimist of Bronx County. We're gonna actually grow our own lunch. We're going to grow our own food today. We're gonna go from seed to plate.
A tower garden is like this plant, but you don't need soil. And then the water comes up, and then it comes down and rain on the roots.
Adults think you can't farm in the South Bronx. Tell it to these kids. They're farming. For so many, food is the problem. Yet for all of us, food is a solution. We have some of the highest rates of juvenile diabetes and juvenile obesity in the nation. And we can change that. We absolutely have the power to change schools in this generation.
I think I still see the seed.
That happens, exactly.
You mean I can pass it around and they can see the seed
Absolutely.
in the plant?
My job is to teach kids how we can grow food. And I'm asking everyone to roll up their sleeves and get a little dirty and grow something greater.
He lets us plant stuff like salad, cucumbers, tomatoes.
My 4th and 5th graders came into a classroom with no windows to build a tower garden and literally turned it into a farm. And we talked about how healthy food builds healthy minds and healthy bodies, and where are we doing it? Right here in school.
So did everybody plant a seed?
The excitement and the joy that these little kids feel putting a seed in the ground and watching it blossom. OMG, as they say, this is their moment.
I think he cares about us a lot, and he wants us to learn and have fun at the same time.
I'm not a farmer, but I'm planting seeds.
He always says, like, seeds are like people because they need love, and they grow and grow and grow to be successful people.
To use 21st century technology to generate food and to create this beautiful thing to sit by that you can actually eat is game-changing. It's empowering. They're growing. The plants are growing, and they're responsible for it. And when they know they can grow their own, they really start changing the way they see their relationship to the world and their place in it.
Big one. You gonna eat it? I want it. Is it good? I love it. Thank you. Okay.
All right, so I'm going to switch over to our presentation for this evening here. And just a reminder for those of you who just jumped on that this is a call that happens every 3rd Thursday of the month. And so we'll be hopping back on in January. And so we encourage you, if you know anyone that pops into your mind as you are watching the rest of today or have watched so far.
Who's that?
And that you can,
Who's
that's my
that?
friend Ave. Yeah. That write those names down and you can invite them. And they can hear this valuable information and would be happy to connect with them. So on this next slide here, you'll see that this is our mission, is to convert classrooms into something that looks like this. In fact, on the left here, this is here in Columbus Public City Schools, where they have over 50 tower gardens. And some of them are actually in a center called Urban Gems, which is a partnership between Columbus Public City Schools and Ohio State University, where they bring the kids in after school. They earn a stipend for planting, for harvesting, for maintaining the gardens, and they learn all about really cool concepts, not just biology concepts, but things like business and cooking. And they even have a mobile kitchen that you can see on the top right, where they take it out into the community and they teach the public how to prepare foods off of the tower garden. On the next page here, you'll recognize that this is probably a familiar picture of what your classroom looked like when you were in school. And unfortunately, this is one of the very few industries that still look how it did 50 years ago. And if you imagine, yourself in any of these seats, or some of your peers sitting in those seats that are disconnected and disengaged, isolated, bored, maybe asleep or pretending to sleep. So what we do is we convert those classrooms to look into something that looks like this. All sorts of different lessons that we use. You can find all those lessons on our websites. You can get back in touch with the person who invited you to watch this recording. And you can see this is a project-based learning resource, real life practical applications. And it's applicable from daycares all the way up through college and beyond. I know we have a couple people on the call that were interested in learning how you can actually use it in educational settings or senior living. So we'll go into a little bit with that as well. This is just an example of one of the, hey, you want to see this? I'm going to show you one of my lessons. So this is one of my lessons that I used to teach when I was in the high school classroom, teaching environmental science, but it can also be applied to biology and stuff like that. Hold on, Bree. I'm going to finish up the presentation for everyone, okay? So this here is what farms should look like. Lush, green, the soil has lots of nutrients in it. And unfortunately, because of desertification, because of urbanization, then a lot of that soil has been depleted. Most of our produce here in Ohio travels thousands of miles with redistribution, going on transportation from the plant over to the grocery stores, and then how long has it actually been picked before it goes into your mouth or on your plate. And so this is one of our solutions. As you saw, our tower gardens grow 3 times as fast as anything that is in soil, and you can grow anything that is above ground. I'm going to show you a quick time lapse of what that looks like, so you can see how or what to expect after 4 weeks worth of growth.
Henry, you!
Yeah, that's me. For some reason that didn't play. Let's try that again. Play. That didn't work. Okay, for some reason that's not working, but we'll just go ahead and move on. So this is a personal time lapse, if you will. If you have pictures over on the right, you can move those so you can see the picture on the left and the right. The difference of that is 12 days worth of growth. Bree, if you wanna watch the presentation, you can watch it. Otherwise, I'll have to go to the other room. Okay. So you can see all of the different varieties of plants that you can grow on it. You're not limited to just lettuces. You have all sorts of microgreens, all the way up to different types of fruits like cucumbers and tomatoes, zucchinis, and peppers. Just a forewarning that is, because those fruits are flowering, then you definitely want to have some way to pollinate those. So if you're outdoors, then the insects will do that. If not, and you're doing these indoors, then you just have a paintbrush or a toothbrush and you can pollinate itself as if you were a bee. You can also see some of these other varieties. The one on the left is called a salad lover tower garden, and the one on the right is a chef tower garden. You can see the varieties of things that you put on your tower gardens. You can keep on stacking those high and higher and higher, just like you saw earlier on here, all the way up to 2 stories if you want. Just matters what type of pump you have. So this video is how it actually works, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you that. So this basin here, 20 gallons of water. So it grows 3 times as fast and gives 30% more yield because it's constantly showering the roots with water. Uses only 2% of the water that it would in soil because it catches that water in the basin and then pumps it right back up through the center console and trickles down through a cascade system to shower over all those roots every 8 minutes or 12 minutes, depending on how you have your timer set. Because it is vertical, this is a huge difference between hydroponic and aeroponic. Hydroponic is where they sit in water, and whereas you have aeroponic, where the roots are being showered on and they're actually hanging in the air. So we can go vertical and it uses 90% less space. Year-round crop growing, and especially for your teachers, that is particularly important because the growing season in some places, like here in Ohio, is very limited to the summer. And that's when school is out of session. So by the time kids get into school in August, then October is when the first frost hits. So they can't actually use their outdoor gardens until it comes to like April. And nowadays schools get out in May. So outdoor gardens are kind of impractical in school systems that are further north because they don't actually have a time for the kids to utilize them. Whereas tower gardens are indoor and outdoor. So you can grow those throughout the entire school year. No soil involved. So the mess and different things like critters and earthworms, you don't have to worry about those in your classroom. No weeding, no mulching. It's all natural and safe, and it'll save money. So we go beyond just teaching them lessons about sustainability and photosynthesis and animal and plant cells, which are important. And what's even more is we're actually changing the cravings of our students, because if you can remember, our lunches probably looked like this when you and I were in school, where they have leftover sausage from yesterday's breakfast lunch and they put it on the pizza, and they have all these different preservatives in what they call your fruit of the day or your vegetable. And a lot of times it's iceberg lettuce in that little cup on the end there that, let's be honest, how many of us threw that away and just ate the greasy pizza? So what if we were to convert these into something that looks like this? And you can do that with your tower gardens. In fact, it's not just for science classrooms. You can put it into, we have 2 classes here in Dublin called Foods and Fitness and also Global Gourmet, and they use the produce off the tower gardens. And this is super important. Actually, there are 2 universities, Cornell University and Ohio State University, that did a study on how much more likely are kids to eat their produce or eat their fruits and vegetables if they are making it, or if they're growing it from scratch versus just being handed it. On this next slide here, I love this phrase. I use this every year in the classroom. You are what you eat. And I think most of us have heard of that, if not used it ourselves. And really, do we take that seriously? The science behind that, really quick, is if you feed your gut bacteria healthy fruits and vegetables, then it will crave healthy fruits and vegetables. It'll actually send signals to your brain. We call your gut the second brain because it communicates with your first brain. Versus if you feed your gut your chips and your donuts, then it'll crave processed sugars and refined foods. And this is nothing new. This is something that you can find on, your bookshelf or in magazines, that you are what you eat, and all the way down to your DNA is made of what you put into your mouth. And so a lot of you know that my background oftentimes looks like this because I choose to build my healthy cells out of fruits and vegetables. Now, do you have to eat perfectly? No, but it also is a measurement of how much in the positive are you, that's fruits and vegetables, versus the negative, which is like fast foods, processed foods, and refined foods. Someone asked earlier about other applications in education besides just the classroom, and the Ronald McDonald House here in Columbus, Ohio, and several across the nation, they are using tower gardens to grow the food for their residents and for their patients, so they can get that fresh, nutrient-dense food. This is a daycare down in Florida. My friend Shelly there, standing there with the tower garden on the right, and these zucchinis, I couldn't believe this one plot produced 26 zucchinis. It's insane. And I told you about Urban Gems earlier with the Ohio State University and Columbus City Schools. Also shared with you about different applications in the community where we do salad in a jar parties. And then also, this is our Kemper House of Worthington. And Kemper House is our assisted living, where we have several neighborhoods of our elderly seniors, where they will use it as a socialization tool. They'll come in and we will literally have them plant and label and take ownership of some of these, some of the produce that they use, and they eat it. So I love this quote here by Caitlin. Caitlin is the social worker over there. Our brain is our garden. The roots are nurtured by the food that we eat. And so important that we, again, we put in our mouth what we want to build ourselves off of. Applications with food pantries, homeless shelters. I love this slide too, if you want to take a snapshot of it. What is the tower garden worth? The left column here shows you conventional prices. These are not your organic prices. And then it tells you a 6-month yield on the tower garden of the equivalent vegetable or fruit that you see on the left, and the amount of value that it can yield if you're taking care of your tower garden. So I'm not going to go into too much of the differences between the two models. You can get back to the person who invited you to the call to see those, but there are 2 different models for the tower garden. And just to summarize, what we've talked about here today is that the tower garden is not the future of growing, it is actually the now, because we have these all over the place, all over the US, Canada. And I'm going to show you a map that has several locations of tower farms, which are 12 or more tower gardens. You can see, again, less water, less space, more yield, and it grows faster. This is what a single tower garden looks like when it arrives to your school. Has the pumps, the timers, the nutrients, the seeds, everything you need in order to turnkey. And then after just a short few weeks, then this is what your tower garden should look like. If you get 3, oftentimes we call that a family garden or a science bundle. And for educators, you actually get some freebies along with that. We said 12 tower gardens or more is called a tower farm. And this website here, I'm going to show you, is a location of several of the tower farms that we have located around the world. So if you look here, you can see they're not just in the US, primarily in the US, but you can see in Central America. There are a couple in Europe and the Middle East even. And the one that is my favorite because a lot of people have actually seen this one in person and don't even know it, is this one here, O'Hare International Airport in Chicago. Next time you are flying through O'Hare, check out Terminal 2. They have 26 tower gardens that they use. They're 2 stories tall, and the 67 restaurants in O'Hare Airport share the produce. So it's not just for aesthetics or looks, it's actually a practical application. And we can certainly talk to any of your contacts that you think of that what might benefit from hearing this information. So got a couple other resources here, just want to peruse through. The classroom resources are phenomenal. You can get all of the standards-based, cross-curriculum, standards-aligned lesson plans from K all the way through high school. And this is one of my favorites as well. This is called True Gardens. There's actually a really cool video that shows you about the process and different seedlings that you can grow in it. If you're curious, there's 2 videos down at the very bottom that you can watch. So that's all I have for you guys today. And I'm going to turn it back over to Troy.
Wow, Henry, you just, again, you and Lori every week. And I just want to just ask you a couple questions. As far as you broke down the cost, is it worth it? I get the question all the time because there are some, people are always going to try to duplicate something that's extremely good. And there are other quote unquote gardens out there. And a gentleman asked me the other day, and he asked me how much it costs, and I told him, and he's like, wow. And then he asked, how many plants can you grow? And I said, up to 32. And he's like, wow, that many. And I could see, and he said, I could see why. So when you break down the cost and you get those questions about the other models, what do you say to them?
Yeah, that's a great question, Troy. Anytime you have something that works, anything that is new and improved, then there are other people who are going to try to duplicate that. And the truth is that this has been around longer and it has been researched, and this is NASA technology. So started in NASA, Tim Blank, head horticulturist at Disney World and Epcot Center. This is not a joke. It's the tower gardens have been tested against produce that is grown in soil by Atlanta Urban Farms, University of Mississippi, and they take all the numbers and they show that that not only does it taste better and it tastes richer, it's an indication that it is more nutrient dense, and they've been able to quantify what that looks like using data. So there are all sorts. There's always going to be people that try to replicate it. In fact, my brother tried to put together a couple different models of his own. He's an engineer, and after trying several different models using different types of water collection basins and different storage containers, he threw in the towel because, I mean, this is so easy to use and it is very, very efficient.
Yeah. And my last question, for those schools out there, I know you've had experience helping schools with grants. I just want them, and you could let them know that there is help out there. If you're looking for funding, I just helped I have 14 boys and girls clubs in the DC area that have them. And one of them wanted another one. Of course, we helped them and we did a little fundraising to help them get that. So there are tools out there to help those schools get these tower gardens. Can you just talk about the grants out there?
Yeah, absolutely. So whether or not it's a specific garden grant, lots of local places like even Walmart and Bob Evans, my 3 tower gardens, there was a huge grant that was or a donor that was given, donation that was given by the local Bob Evans. We talked to different places like eye doctors and different private businesses around the area, and then we can put their name on it and say, hey, this was donated by so and so. But I think the easier way to do that is If you talk to a teacher or any of you that are watching here, and you find that it is an applicable tool for your students, go to your PTA, your PTO, go to your Rotary Club, go to your principal's fund. A lot of times schools will have excess money that they need to spend, otherwise they lose it. And what perfect time and what perfect tool to put it towards, something that's going to last for decades, and it's going to give your students the cutting edge on this technology.
Wow, that is awesome information, Henry. And again, back to the community. With the Tower Garden you're going to invest in with this community, you're going to be part of a family. So you can go to the Walmarts or wherever they sell those other models, and when you walk out the door, that is the end of that relationship. But when you come into the Tower Garden Healthy Living family, you are welcome with open arms to a loving family. So again, everyone out there, we're coming upon another year, what I call the Breakthrough 22. So many people are going to experience a breakthrough in this upcoming year that they've been waiting for years. And I truly believe that number one breakthrough is going to be health, because people are becoming more health conscious. And when you have thousands of brothers and sisters like are part of this group, like Lori and Henry and some of our other family members on here, Tammy, we're going to make a difference. So we welcome you to take a closer look. Ask the questions. If you know someone on here, whoever invited you, ask a little bit more so you can learn how we operate, how we love, how we give, how we care about you. This is a family. You see Henry's daughter on there, right? She's involved. And when the kids are involved with this process, it makes it so much fun for them, because they're growing and eating and getting healthy, and they're setting the tone for the next generation to come. So I just want to thank everyone and wish everyone a happy holidays. Watch what you're eating, eat in moderation, please. And let's get ready for the Breakthrough 22. And as Henry said, we're going to come back in January. We're going to be healthier, we're going to be stronger, and we're going to be inspiring healthy living for the Breakthrough 22. So I want Lori Weeks, our queen of the show, to end with a couple of inspiring words, because she is an inspiring individual that inspires me all the time to grow different things. So Lori, if you could please close us out. Thank you.
Hey, you guys, if I had to share one thing to close us out is let's do this together. Together, we can make wonderful things happen. Bring people that you love into this community. Let's get healthy together. Let's change our own lives. Let's change more lives. Thanks for letting me close that out, Troy.
No, God bless you. Thank you.